Living with someone who doubts your love. My wife and I have been married for over 35 years. People often say, you must know everything about each other by now. But lately, I've realized how hollow that statement can be. Because my wife, after all these years, still doesn't trust me. In fact, the older we get, the deeper her doubts seem to grow. The first signs of suspicion. It started about 10 years ago, back when I was still working full-time. My job kept me busy. Business dinners, after-hours meetings, endless text messages and calls with coworkers. One weekend, I was relaxing in the living room when my wife came out of the bedroom holding my phone. Her face was pale. "Who is this woman?" she demanded. It was just a coworker, one of my juniors at the office. The text was purely professional, a work-related update. But my wife wasn't reacting to the message. She said she had a feeling and that her intuition was never wrong. I laughed it off at first. "Come on, honey, don't stress about that. It's just work." But to my surprise, she started to cry. "You always say that. You always say it's nothing. Then why do I keep feeling this way?" I didn't think much of it then. I assumed she was just having a bad day, maybe tired, maybe emotional, but it didn't stop there. Whenever my phone rang, she'd ask, "Who's that?" Whenever I came home late, she'd say, "Why are you late? Who were you with?" At first, I tried to reassure her. I showed her messages, explained my schedule, tried to prove that nothing was wrong. I believed that if I just explained enough, she'd finally trust me again. But over time, the endless questions wore me down. "Can't you just trust me?" I'd ask. "Do you really think I'd ever do something like that?" And each time I said it, her face would turn cold. After retirement, things got worse. When I retired, I thought her suspicions would fade. No more late nights, no coworkers, no excuses to worry. But it only got worse. One morning, I came home after jogging 4 laps around the neighborhood park. I was sweaty, tired, and ready for breakfast. As I kicked off my shoes, the front door opened. My wife stood there, arms crossed, scanning me from head to toe. "Why are you so late?" she asked curtly. "I stayed a bit longer to stretch," I said. "With who?" I froze. If I said alone, she'd say, "Then why did it take so long?" If I mentioned a name, she'd find a new reason to question it. So I just muttered, "Just by myself." She stepped closer, lifted my shirt collar and sniffed. "Why do you smell like perfume?" My breath caught in my throat. Was it the lilacs blooming in the park? Someone's cologne carried on the wind? The deodorizer from the gym? Whatever it was, I knew any answer would sound like a lie. That night, under the hot shower, I finally noticed how my shoulders had started to hunch forward, like someone always bracing for interrogation. Living under a magnifying glass. On Wednesdays, I take the recycling out. One evening, as I carried down bags of bottles and boxes, a neighbor poked her head out of her apartment. "Need a hand with that? Here, I'll hold the door," she said kindly. We rode the elevator down together, chatting briefly. But as soon as we reached the recycling area, there she was, my wife. She smiled tightly at the neighbor. "Thanks for helping my husband," she said, her tone polite but her eyes cold. As soon as the elevator doors closed on the way back up, the questions began. "Do you see her often?" "Not really, just once in a while." "Then why were you smiling like that?" I couldn't even remember what my expression had been. All I knew was that I felt a small, sharp discomfort, not because I'd done anything wrong, but because I knew I'd have to prove I hadn't. And that kind of life, where you're always proving your innocence, it changes you. You start shrinking inside your own skin. The little things that destroy you. One afternoon, I was at the grocery store when my daughter called. I handed my credit card to the cashier and answered the call briefly. When I got back to the car, I saw I'd missed a call from my wife. I called her right back. Her voice was cold. "Who were you talking to?" "Our daughter." "Then why didn't you pick up my call right away?" "I was at the register paying." "You're always on your phone. How did you miss mine?" I felt myself shrinking again. I even sent her a photo of the receipt just to show where I'd been. I hated myself for it. Hated that I had to hand over proof of my life, like a defendant showing evidence. It wasn't love anymore. It was surveillance. Soon, she started examining the receipts, line by line. Milk, eggs, bread. That's $28, but the total is $32. What's the extra $4? I stopped at the pharmacy for some pain patches. "Where's the receipt?" They didn't print one. Before I could finish, she was already glaring at me. I'd searched through couch cushions, jacket pockets, even the shoe rack, like I was on trial, hunting for an alibi. And when I finally found the pharmacy bag, she'd say, "Fine, if you say so." That "if you say so" crushed me more than any accusation ever could. Because even when I proved my truth, the trust never came back. The breaking point. One night, a group chat pinged on my phone, my fishing buddies asking, "Anyone up for a trip this weekend?" Before I could even look, my wife snatched the phone from the nightstand. "Why are people messaging you this late?" "It's just the guys talking about fishing." "Any women in that group?" "No." "Show me." I handed her the phone. She scrolled through photos of bait, ocean views, fishing rods, nothing more. When she finally put it down, she rolled over and went back to sleep. I lay there awake, staring at the ceiling. Eventually, I said quietly, "I know you're anxious, but no matter how much I explain, it doesn't seem to help. Would you go to counseling with me?" She stared at me for a long time. "Do you really think therapy will fix this?" "I don't know," I said, "but maybe we won't feel so alone if we try." In that moment, I realized how exhausted I was and how badly I still wanted to find our way back to each other. A few weeks later, after our daughter insisted, we saw a psychiatrist. The doctor used the word delusional jealousy. On the drive home, my wife cried. "So now I'm crazy?" she said. "No," I told her softly. "We're both just tired." That night, she began taking medication. Over time, the constant surveillance, the glances that felt like CCTV cameras, they slowed down. One evening, she reached over and touched my hand. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I didn't answer. I just placed my other hand gently over hers. At our age, you learn that sometimes forgiveness is made of silence, not words. I still get tired. Sometimes I feel angry at the unfairness of it all, being treated like a suspect in my own home. Other days, I just feel numb, like a caregiver trying to soothe someone I can't help. But there are also nights when I watch her sleeping and my heart softens. Her doubts still come in waves, but when the tide goes out, it leaves footprints in the sand, marks of the years we've walked together. And I follow those footprints, quietly whispering, "I'm still here. I never left."
Jealousy may look like love, but it slowly destroys it. This isn't just a story about a wife with delusional jealousy. It's about what happens when trust slowly collapses in a long marriage and love turns into fear. For many older couples, especially after retirement, jealousy isn't about another person. It's about loss of youth, of purpose, of identity. When one partner feels their world shrinking, they often cling harder to the person left beside them. 1. The nature of delusional jealousy. It's not mere suspicion. It's a disorder, a belief fixed and unshakable that one's partner is being unfaithful despite no evidence. Beneath it lies deep insecurity. What if I'm no longer loved? When aging, retirement, or loneliness deepen that fear, it can twist into control, checking, and emotional surveillance. 2. The other side of the pain. For the spouse being doubted, the pain is existential. It's not just being accused, it's being erased. They stop feeling like a person and start feeling like a case to defend. That's why quiet patience, not argument, is the only sustainable response. 3. Healing as a family. Jealous delusions rarely improve without help. Therapy and medication are essential, but so is family support. Don't argue against the delusion. Acknowledge the emotion beneath it. Say, "You're feeling anxious, I understand," instead of "Stop thinking that." Keep calm boundaries. Refuse invasive checking without hostility. Encourage professional treatment and stay consistent with it. Support doesn't mean submission. It means helping the person feel safe without giving up your own peace. 4. Relearning trust. Love in later life isn't about passion, it's about endurance. Even if jealousy never vanishes completely, love can still survive in the quiet promise, "I'm still here." That one phrase, spoken not with frustration, but with gentleness, can do what medicine sometimes can't: remind both people that even when love falters, it hasn't left.